Apple. All right. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Sound Good Podcast. My name is Bharat, and today with me, like always, is my highly skilled, trained professional host, Mr. Parth,
Oh my
and today special guest, Mr. Ajay Majethia, who is always renowned to be a part of two people's parties and just barging in and talking, but not that's not the case today. We've invited him for change. So, how does it feel to be invited in a company of two, Ajay? Finally. Right. This is not that podcast that you usually watch.
It's great to be here. Honestly, like Aditya's already been interviewed like twice, so this is a good
Right,
change.
right. Finally, you're getting some
Finally,
PR money,
something.
some attention, some tabloid
Yeah,
attention. Even though
I know,
we
right?
wouldn't call ourselves any reputed journalistic entity yet, we have a long way to go. But yeah, Ajay, that's great, bro. That's great. So, how's everything with you? What is the whole lockdown thing been for you? I know that. For the people watching now who've not come from Ajay's side, Ajay is also guitar teacher. He's a very good guitar player. He's a vocalist as well. And Ajay's been a part of bands such as Half Cooked Rice, which is a Hindi band, if I'm not wrong, and also a part of this band named Fourth Lane, which Ajay is a part, and they are doing some tremendous work. So Ajay, what is the lockdown been like for you? How things changed for you?
So, in the beginning of the lockdown, it was very depressing because nowhere to go, nothing to do. I'm stuck at home with family members. What could
Right,
be worse? What could be
right,
worse?
absolutely. Ajay, we can't see your face properly. It's like you're hiding your face. So can you just move the camera a little bit? Yeah. I mean, this is not
God.
Karwa Chauth, Ajay.
Okay.
I get it. I look like
Okay, is this better? This is better?
Yeah,
this is perfectly fine.
That's good.
Okay.
It was like you want to be underground and do a podcast at the same time. You just don't want people to know who you are. But for
Yeah.
the people looking for Ajay, he's in Grace Park Audio, which is in Baner. So just go get him. And
Yes,
he's
absolutely. Barge
he's
in and ruin
he's
my
right
life.
opposite. He's right opposite Recording Studio A. You remove your shoes and you take the right. There is a sofa there, and then you barge into a door and you open that, and Ajay will be sitting right there. So
Sure.
Yeah, and even he won't be there, right? You won't be there when this releases.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean, yeah,
I'll be
you,
long gone. I'll be long gone.
yeah. Yeah, why Ajay, has your helicopter tickets been given to you? Like, will you be evacuated finally? Like how Professor asked people to like his team to get evacuated in Money Heist. Is something
I've already talked to the FBI and the CIA and
right,
everybody. They're ready to get me the fuck out of here.
right. I can sense the Professor vibe from you, like the way your hair and your specs are also doing its own thing.
Uh,
But yeah, but anyways, so yeah, you said that it's been a little not so choppy and not so
it's been a little choppy. Obviously I wasn't very used to sitting at home. And normally I would go to Vadgaon a lot to jam with my Hindi band Half Cooked Rice or even jam with Fourth Lane, my
Mm.
English
right,
band.
right.
And yeah, so
Are
first
are
time
there any other languages like Mirzapur, like Telugu, Tamil dub, or something like you're
uh,
mastering?
I'm going I have a Nepali vocalist in the studio, so
That's wonderful.
we'll
That's
see.
that's a great that's a great thing, bro. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Right. No. Anyways, yeah. So
So
you
yeah, so just sitting at home, I didn't know what to practice, and मेरा
right.
हाथ गिटार पे इतना लगता नहीं था. तो
Hmm.
but then somewhere in between, I got used to the entire routine, and
Right.
I started picking up guitar. I started doing covers. Like covers is one of the things I hate doing the most, but
Mm-hmm.
I am so agonized by how essential it is to make covers and put them online for other
Absolutely.
True,
people to
Absolutely.
discover you.
true.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I know, right? So yeah, I started doing covers. I started developing myself on the guitar.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I spent a lot of time with my family members at home too, and
Hmm.
it was great. And now the lockdowns opened up, and I did not
It's kind of weird, right?
realize
It's kind of weird. You
it
were
is.
like, I mean, you get so used to it. You're like, what? Are we going back now? I mean,
Yeah,
it's that kind of.
I was just about to say that now all I can think of is like the only acceptable place that I'd be happy to step out of the house to is the studio. Otherwise, I'm like, भाई मेरे को घर जाना है, सोने का है, खाने का है, पीने का है, टीवी
Exactly.
देखने का है. मेरा मेरा
Right.
डोरेमोन का शो जाने वाला है, उसका टाइमिंग जा रहा है, मेरे को जल्दी से देखना है. वैसा
Damn.
सीन.
One of those
Hey,
days. No. How many hours have
hey,
you not slept for, Ajay? I mean, I'm just curious to know. I mean, all of a sudden you
uh,
remember.
wait, I've got it. I've got it noted down. Just a moment.
What are you saying? Literally. That's what you really need some gigs. Ajay, you really need some gigs. I think this is driving you into insanity now. I mean, this is like an episode of Mindhunter. You know, we just have like some that we're talking to, and we're just interviewing and we're trying to know that person is like locked in a place which like has glass windows and like it's closed. And we're trying to talk to him and get to know about his life. It literally feels like that only. What was like a normal day in your life before like the pandemic?
Before the pandemic, wake up at like 10, 11 a.m. sometimes even 12. सीधा उठ के एकदम lunch खा लो, and then like for some time.
Okay, some lunch खा लो. That is basically saying that I wake up so fucking late that it's almost not dinner. So I mean, I just have lunch.
Yeah, see, I get up really late, like just roam around the house, eat lunch, maybe sit on the guitar for some time, learn a little bit of recording on FL Studio. Like this is before I joined the studio for my education. So
Right.
I used to
Right.
I was learning FL Studio from my producer, and
Right.
and just stuff like that, trying to keep myself as creative as I can, writing songs, and then just watch TV, laze around. I don't know. Yeah, that's about it.
That's great, bro. That's great. Yeah, you can't really try to.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is quite a struggle.
it's good that you don't sound pretentious. Like I was reading Murakami and I was reading the poetry of Rupi Kaur and I was having my Hobil poop on tea and I was basically in the serene what do we say serene backgrounds of I don't know. But yeah, anyways, that's great, bro. That's great. So
Serene backgrounds of Norway.
Norway, yeah. When I'd gone on that solo backpacking trip, that's when I discovered myself and kind of stuff.
Corona mein, I wouldn't have discovered myself. The police would have discovered me and would have put me in jail.
Yeah, I mean, even if you would not do anything, there's enough suspect in you. Like,
Exactly.
But you wouldn't have to do covers then.
Yeah.
You would have been like,
If only somebody told me that back then.
You know what would be really funny that you spend so much time in like the studio and working on your tracks and all of that, and then you go to like a gig and just play Gulabi Aankhein. Like, it's so funny.
That literally happened. You have no idea. I do all this different shit in the studio, and then suddenly I'm fucking going to a gig, and the only song the audience claps on is fucking Perfect. I'm like, bro, music taste hai ki nahi hai?
No, yaar, I mean, Himanshu Chavan is a good musician, but I'm just kidding.
Dude, I am very, very envious of Himanshu. Like he's one of the people I personally know that actually goes to gigs for his music.
right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Right. I think that's
like initially the audience also didn't know that it's not his music. Like
exactly. Yeah.
Ed Sheeran tribute gig. यार पर Ed Sheeran का कोई गाना सुना तो नहीं है. Yeah, no. He's doing wonderfully, bro. And the fact that
He's
made
doing
a space
great.
for himself is very nice, very nice. So,
Yeah.
like speaking of like artists that you really like in the scene, who are the other artists that you really like?
Like indie artists?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You could even take Tony Hawk's name. We'll not judge you. So, yeah. You could be like, yeah, that Kurta Pajama song is actually good, man. I was like, after watching Doraemon, when I just came back home, I vibed on that song for an hour, man.
Dude,
But
I'm telling you, the number of times I played DDLJ in the studio just to piss people off, I have more joy doing that than actually playing Photograph in another fucking gig again.
No, DJ, like, do you have something against Ed Sheeran or you're just like bored playing?
No, see, I absolutely have nothing against Ed Sheeran. He is an amazing vocalist, amazing guitarist. It's just that I don't know. I guess just personally for me, I was in that phase that I used to like Ed Sheeran because his kind of music was very new to me. And just going on later on, I mean, he has different kinds of music, but I guess his overall vibe kind of stayed the same. And as I discovered different genres of music, I just grew out of it. So.
Got it. Like you were into like acoustic singer-songwriter stuff, and then you
absolutely.
You were Tony Kakkar, and yeah.
We'll get to that.
Bro, it'd be so funny if you just do like a Tony Kakkar like a cover album, like complete like.
At this point, once I start doing gigs with my Hindi band, I won't be surprised if I do.
Yeah, I mean, don't. Yeah, I mean, you're just giving a heads up to the audience. Like, don't think that I just gone insane if he does that. But yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, but then it will be called half cooked meth instead of half cooked rice. I mean, going to that direction only.
I anyway look high as fuck, so I mean, I've got
Yeah,
nothing against the name.
I mean, the audience members will be like, we've seen him in Breaking Bad. Actually, I think so. Wasn't he in that episode? But yeah, no. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry, Kangana. I mean, no NCB here. But anyway, so what I'm saying is, I mean, like, do you know what happened? Like, you spent so much time in the studio. Do you know, like, apart from lockdown, there are other things that have been happening in the country, like boycott Bollywood, and or have you just because Doraemon is not topical. Doraemon is just some stuff happening in Japan randomly. So I don't know whether you're too much in touch with this world. I mean, I just want to know whether you are in. I mean, a Homo sapien right now. That is what I want to. Because
Yeah.
I think you're a Martian already. I mean, Elon Musk just needs to come to Grace Park Audio again right now. At this point. You just
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, I mean, I've been somewhat keeping up to date with some recent events like boycott Bollywood. But that is solely, and I'll tell you, okay. So look, see, I'll tell you.
It's 80 months, bro.
This is solely because I follow a lot of meme pages on Instagram,
Is there
and
like
there's
2G in Grace Park Audio? Like, what is up? Like, hey, just got to know that we can roam around after like 4 p.m. Like, that's so great. All of us have been vaccinated, bro. What are you talking about? Like, okay.
yes, I still use Internet Explorer.
Yeah, I mean, I think you are on 2G using Internet Explorer right now, just for a time. I mean, why you look so
Yeah. I
But
know,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
They're like, hey, bro, what is all this BS I'm reading about nepotism and everything, huh? What?
But yeah, I mean, we always wanted to do like the podcast in a legit studio, and this is one means to it. Like, it feels nice. Like, at least one of us is in a studio right now with like a
Dude,
proper setup. You
with
you
with
guys are
all
treating us like amateurs, you know. I mean, but I mean,
with all the freaking lives I have done on Orange Octopus and with Himanshu, with me having to go down sit near the temple of my building so that I don't disturb the sleeping people at my place. I think this is a way much an upgrade.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like 0 to 100, bro. All of it.
It's kind of an upgrade for us as well. Like
Yeah, I mean,
we have at
it's an
least
upgrade for us. We were
yeah
like, you
we
want to
have
upgrade equipment, but not specifically of food. We didn't know that. I mean, at least one of us does it, you know, like it's like yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
yeah. It's like
This
one guy
one.
from our,
Yep. Cool.
oh, they put a library sort of thing behind. I didn't know that.
Oh, these books are actually used as diffusers. They're actually used to control the sound within the studio.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's so
Yeah,
cool, bro.
it
That's
is a
really
very
nice.
cool thing.
Arve and I were also talking that if you just want to look an intellectual, I mean, if you want to convey that you're intellectual in the least amount of words, you just put a library behind it.
Library behind you. I know, right?
So, A, you are upgraded in terms of equipment. You're doing it in a legit studio, and you also have a library behind you. It's like all like you've just taken over this podcast. You just hijacked this podcast all of a sudden. So, I mean, that's
Yeah.
great, bro. That's great. So, I mean, you tell me, how did you start in the scene? How did you begin? What year was it? What was your first gig? Was it an open mic? Was it how did you start?
Um, okay, so this is actually an interesting story. Um, so way long back, once upon a time, I used to, so sorry.
Yeah,
So
never mind.
my best friend had bought this horrible 3,000 rupee acoustic guitar, huh? Okay,
Okay,
and you can even tell how good the acoustic guitar by the name of the company is, Jixing.
okay
okay,
okay
got it,
Uh,
got it.
I know that is very judgmental, but I can't help it. It's
Right,
yeah.
right.
So anyway,
Going
so
to
I
blame
used
me
to
in this classes, I understand, but it's not. I really don't blame you. The classism is inherent. So
yeah,
anyway, that's
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah.
But honestly speaking, if he
But,
hadn't
by the way, do you know that there are other parts apart from KP and KLN in Pune? I just want to know that. Like, I mean, it's like a common question. Don't be shocked. Like, you be like, Konwa, is that I mean, is that in India or like somewhere in Japan? Like, but yeah. So, anyways, I'm kidding. Not to be
yeah,
judgmental. So yeah, it was
it's cool,
3,000
it's
rupees
cool.
guitar. 3,000
Yeah,
rupees guitar.
yeah.
And what
But
year was this?
oh, this was way back in I think 2017 or 2018.
2017 or 2018. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So yeah. So honestly, if he hadn't bought that guitar, I don't think I would be where I am right now, because it
Okay.
was
So
because
what,
it was
you
because
did know the guitar back then, or like you learned that very
no,
time?
I didn't know jack shit about guitar, and he knew
Damn.
he knew four basic chords. He taught it to me, and almost every day I would just go to his house to just play that guitar because it was so intriguing to me. And then
Right.
this one day, my dad finds out I've taken one of my college friends' guitars home, and he's like, "ये guitar किसका है?" And I'm like, "मेरा दोस्त का है." He's like,
Hmm.
"तू बजाता है?" I'm like,
Hmm.
"हाँ, मैं बजाता हूँ." Like, अच्छा
Hmm.
बजा. तो मैं तो मैं बजाया. तो मैं बजाया.
It's so good to have Biswa Kalyan Rath in our podcast all of a sudden. But yeah, we wanted to drink to talk to the
all,
magic
all,
Biswa
all of
Kalyan
a
Rath.
sudden, this podcast is upgrading,
All of a sudden, this podcast has turned into pretentious movie reviews. I mean, it's so nice. It's so nice to
I
give
know,
a
right?
tribute to my favorite shows.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
so
But then ever since then, I kept playing the guitar. My dad was also really intrigued by it, and he bought me my first guitar after that. And later on, the first performance I actually did was this one competition that was there in my colony. Okay.
hmm,
Okay.
And I had applied, and a couple of people who were the same age as I was
hmm,
also applied. And then I suddenly go there. I'm like the second last to perform in front of a very old Indian, group of judges,
hmm,
and everybody up there has been playing classical music, has been singing some sort of Bollywood song, and
hmm.
me, I am not well versed. I'm not versed at all with classical music, nor am I too knowledgeable in terms of playing and singing Bollywood music. Okay.
Right.
So the only thing I did, I just went up there and I was like, fuck it, I will play this one song I really like. So I played Cherry Wine by Hosier. It
Mhm.
is still
Okay.
one of my favorite songs to date to play on the guitar. And apparently I got second place. And I was like, wow.
Oh wow, that's so nice.
So
Yeah, I was
what
like,
did the person who got the first place played?
she was an already very well trained classical vocalist, and she
Mhm.
sung a nice Bollywood song really, like amazingly. So
Hmm.
it's only fair that I got second place.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're basically just
uh,
trying to say that I should have fucking won the first place. Like,
Ve- Very subtly said that.
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I could see the passive aggressive entitlement in your eyes. It's like it would have been such a fairy tale story. But
How could
that
these
was
people, how could these people who've been listening to Kishore Kumar their whole life give her first place and me second?
uh,
Yeah.
I can see the aggression popping out now. It's good that Grace Park is soundproof from the outside. I mean, it's really nice. I mean, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that people will just presume from the outside on the highway might be thinking there's some big brawl going out inside.
Yeah. They'll be like,
Uh, he's like, what Dolly Bitra is in Paneer? I had no clue. बाप पे जाना नहीं, but yeah.
oh boy. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, anyway, so then after that performance, I came. Actually, I had come in contact with somebody who was a good friend of mine named Shelton D'Souza.
Yeah, 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 I
He's
know. He's from
yeah,
your open mic.
yeah,
Shelton guitar.
yeah, exactly. He had it at All Rounder Shots
Okay,
in
so the story
yeah,
is that we used to do open mics there before. Let me just say, okay,
yeah,
we used to do open
yeah,
mics there, and Shelton used
yeah,
to come there, and then they also
yeah,
started. Okay, so we were the
yeah,
enemies.
exactly. I
He's a
see.
good guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, but for some reason I got his contact first, and then right currently he's studying in Germany, so that's
right.
cool.
Mhm.
And then later on, I found out that just traveling to Magarpata like every week,
No,
once
that's
every
not
week was
Magarpata. That's Viman Nagar. Clearly proves
sorry.
what Srivan's done to you. I'm just kidding. Right,
Yeah. So
right.
just like traveling every week, once a week to Vimanagar was it costed quite a bit.
Yeah.
So then I
Not
came
that
to
much
know
because
about.
I'm from, but I have to tell my struggle stories like Ananya Pandey, otherwise people will not take me seriously. So I mean, I'm just kidding. No, 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 I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, it's just so nice, man. It's so nice. I mean, bro, the fact that you said that you started in 2017 or 18, and I think when I met you for the first time in 2019, you were like, I even take guitar classes. So I was so surprised. I was like, you might be playing for the last 5, 10 years. And I was like, the fact that you were giving guitar classes in a year is like your grasping power is so nice and so good.
Yeah.
That really astonished me.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Thank
How many
you.
hours did you how many hours did you practice on a general basis every day with your friend's guitar?
Um, So before the pandemic, daily I would like seriously daily, like not like necessarily practice, but there were a lot of songs I wanted to learn that had very different things. So
Okay.
I would either sit and play songs I already knew and I really like playing from time to time. Especially with my dad, he comes home from office and I'm playing the guitar
Right.
for myself and for him. It was nice. So
Right.
and there were a lot of songs I wanted to learn. So at least every day before the pandemic, I would probably sit about 3-4 hours daily
Damn.
and
Wow.
yeah.
That's like legit. That's legit.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I was just wasting time on the guitar half of the time. So I mean I
Right.
would just pick up the guitar, sit for like 3-4 hours, and then later on in the pandemic I got too much free time on my hands, so I would sit a little more and
Right.
try out different things. And
Right.
I would join a lot of online competitions, and I knew how to record basics at least on FL Studio on a backing track and stuff, so I would post stuff even on Instagram then.
Right.
And right now, ever since I joined the studio, I have literally almost stopped playing the guitar because right now I'm like sitting daily and learning how to record in different ways and mix.
That's really wonderful, actually. So you tell me ki, like you spoke about the originals that you put out for Fourth Lane. Tell me what has the experience been like? When did that band form? I'm sure that there are, apart from you, there are, I think, one or two more people in the band. So if you would
Two
want
more.
to speak about them and how did that band come to place and what are your plans and what have you guys done till now? What's your discography until now? So if you
Right.
would like to speak about that.
Yeah. So I joined Half Cooked Rice. I'll start off with Half Cooked Rice because there's a connection slightly.
Mhm.
So I joined Half Cooked Rice in 2018, right after I passed out of 12th, and I decided that maybe I'm not as interested in like doing like a bachelor's degree as much as I thought I would be. So I was
Right.
like I'll take a year break and do
Same started
music
with me
and
also.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so anyway, I joined Half Cooked Rice in late 2018, and the drummer and producer of that band is Ram, Half Cooked Rice, and Aditi had come along. Apparently, she found our music video on YouTube, and she's actually my senior from high school, Aditi.
Oh, okay.
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 Yeah. So apparently, she found my video on. She found our video on YouTube through my bandmate's mutual friend,
Hmm.
and yeah. So anyway, she saw that I was playing over there, and she's like, "Ajay, I didn't know you played the guitar or that you were even part of a band." And she wanted some help because she was interested in singing. She didn't know where to start off with, and I
Hmm.
suggested that we also do Orange Octopus. Try it out a couple of times, see what you like about it. Performing live
Yeah.
and stuff.
Even I started there. Yeah. A nice, nice company. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So
you did indeed.
yeah. Yeah.
And anyway, later on, we just came to the decision that I apparently had English originals, and that we were also very interested in doing some English songs, rock songs, metal songs, and everything like that. So we decided we can just take her and form another English band of our own. So Ram, I, and Aditi, we formed Fourth Lane.
Oh, great.
In
What was the reason behind the name Fourth Lane? Like,
uh,
were you guys trying to find the location in KP and you were like, oh shit, we've gone to lane four instead of lane three? Such a flame student story. Like, oh man, Cafe
uh,
108 was in lane five. Oh shit, lane four. Oh, let's call a band that. What? I mean,
uh,
what was the thing? I won't be surprised if that's actually the story. I will not at all be
no,
surprised. If that's the story, just admit it. Admit it. So,
no.
if it's not, all of a sudden it's became into an ASMR video. I mean, what was that thing of you getting to the mic and say that dramatically? But yeah. So what? Yeah. I mean, jokes apart. What was the reason for you guys to call it fourth
Okay.
lane?
So we actually had a fourth member who was also from Half Cooked Rice, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Aditi just came and she's like, "I'll take 3 people from your band and I'll form a band of my own. Jo karna hai kar lo."
Imagine you saying this so precisely on a TEDx talk. You're like, Ajay, tell us about how you guys started. What were the trials and tribulations you faced? Like some scholar student sitting in the Q&A. So I just had this one question. It's like, hey, Aditi came to it. Literally, we started like that.
Yeah.
Literally turned into a Parsi auntie all of a sudden. But yeah. So
Yeah.
you're like,
No.
what dikra you do? But yeah. So yeah. So
No, she
Yeah.
just
Then,
came. She took 3 members and she's like, okay, we'll form fourth lane because all of us are interested in doing like English songs as well. And
yeah.
but apparently he went off to Mumbai because he actually found a job over there and his family is over there as well. So
Oh,
he
acha.
decided that he would permanently shift to Mumbai. So now we're just three
Okay.
members at the moment. Yeah, he would give us quite a few gigs. So we ended up performing in Harapsar. We performed Hard Rock Cafe. We performed Swig. We performed various places. We also went to Mumbai. We performed at Sassy Spoon and everything. And then later on, we were like, okay, I have a few original songs. Do we want to try this out or something? And
And when was this?
yeah,
Which year was this?
this was all in 2019.
29. Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful. So you guys got a good artist manager when you started out and
yeah.
all of that.
We were very lucky that we did, honestly.
Right. Right. That's
Yeah,
good because a lot of people who are here to exploit you also sometimes. So, I mean, the fact
yeah,
that
true.
matlab, to be surrounded by the right people and who are, streamlining you into the right direction is a very important thing for artists.
Just before I get to our original music and
I have to say. So, yeah.
yeah, but yeah. Anyway, so we decided that what, let's dab into the realm of original music.
Let's dab it.
And
Yeah. Will you manage me?
fuck.
The fuck is happening, bro? But yeah. So,
Yeah, so well, we decided we would into the realm of original music, and so we did, and here we are.
this is when you know this happened in 2019 because nobody fucking dabs now. I mean, such a ancient practice. But,
I
yeah.
swear, it was the ancient runes of dabbing written all over the walls of
Yeah,
Egypt.
exactly. Like if there's ever a movie made on fourth lane, it'll be like a period movie, like you guys are like in tribal stuff and doing dabs and shit. But yeah.
We want to make original music.
But it's funny that people do this. That whenever they want to focus on something, they will take out their specs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the opposite of what we should
It
do.
should be the other way around. Yeah, it should be the other way around.
And
But yeah.
and that happens not just with specs. That happens with when you are on call and you don't hear anything. You are literally shouting. You are not able to hear them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Of course, I can't. I mean, there's no chance you can hear me. So, but yeah, I mean, it is like that.
Hello, I can't hear you. They're like, "Arey bench,
Yeah,
I can hear
exactly.
you."
बोले तो थे.
I mean, there's something so weird about when you are like a part of like 2-3 different things, like when you're part of like an artist circle, and then when you have like a normal life also, somehow they overlap. Like it's about that. But yeah, no, I'm just it's really interesting how social media has unified everything. I mean, everything can be done. Like we are doing this podcast via social media.
Exactly.
A lot of gigs happening via social media. I think there's something about meeting people in person that can't be replaced. I mean, it's a good alternative. But I mean, if it's utilized properly and it's done properly, then there's no harm in it. But I think it's just about how you look at things. If you just look at it as a makeshift, then your approach is going to be a makeshift. If you look at it as now I'm doing this, so let me do it properly, then you can see the efforts that are being put into it. So which brings me to our next question. What is your experience with online gigs been? What do you think about online gigs?
Say, I mean, that is the one alternative that we had to take.
Are you too
that's the
fond of
one-
them?
They're okay. I mean, say, coming with a person who has Geo 4G and it sometimes lags at home,
Right.
and
Right.
it's like such a very
Who's always up to
incoherent.
date with news? Who's always up to date with the latest current happenings in the world?
Yeah,
Right.
Hana, I mean, it's
What
just
did
that
you say?
with like lagging internet and everything, it just becomes a very non-coherent experience to be doing online gigs. But
Right.
that being said, I really liked how we actually kept the gig trend going, even despite Corona. And I
Got it.
think that has actually helped a lot of like indie artists like me or Himanshu or Akshit
Yeah.
Dal. And
Yeah.
it just kept us going. We had the hope that we're writing songs at home and everything, but not anything's gonna happen too soon. So some people are gonna come watch us play live. We can go on Instagram live. We can go play in other venues. Newer people will come to know about us. So
Yeah.
that was it's great. I mean, in that aspect, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean,
That's wonderful, bro.
I have a follow-up question. I mean, it's
Yeah.
interesting that you said that it gave us an opportunity to even connect to a lot of different people. So, I mean, it's a tricky question, I guess. For me, at least, it is tricky to answer. If now that gigs have started happening, right? So live gigs are happening. People have started coming to gigs without the eventual, I mean, without the fear that there was. And I mean, I see a lot of musicians now able to perform gigs where they are able to do what they were doing earlier. I mean, now there is no adjustment kind of a scenario at all. They are doing what they want to do. So, do you still think there should be like online gigs still happening?
Like for the sake of safety and
Not safety. Let's say okay, in the near future,
hmm, ये
what we
कोरोना नहीं
expect,
है
हाँ, corona
गया.
nahi hai and we all can be roaming around freely.
Hmm.
उसके बाद do you still
The
think
reality that Ajay is living in अभी तक तो हुआ भी नहीं है.
but yeah, again मतलब gigs तो हो ही रहे हैं, gigs have started, right? So
Yeah.
but again,
Even I'm doing gigs. Yeah, I'm
right.
doing gigs. Yeah.
I mean, so do you still think that the online gigs still would be done or should be done rather?
What I would say is that see, I mean, like leaving the pandemic and everything aside, leaving Corona aside, um, there is a different kind of high that at least artists get when you have people over there in person listening to your music.
There's live
But
gratification. There's more
yeah,
interactive, I think.
the live gratification, the fact that there's louder music that you're playing on
Mhm.
bigger
Right.
speakers and you're in front of a mic, like that is a totally different thing. And upar se, when it comes to live gigs, you're also getting paid for it.
Mhm.
Like bringing the economics into this, it also helps the artists support
Yeah,
themselves.
true.
um but that being said, the budget is still quite shaky for a lot of places, and there are a lot of people who are maybe stuck in places where live gigs are not as apparent or
Mhm.
are not happening at all.
Mhm.
So I would think that online gigs should be going for those who at least do not have the reach to travel
Mhm.
to very far to different venues, different cities to perform their music. And I feel like having online gigs for such people with not much reach can actually be very helpful.
Right. That's quite interesting. So, I mean, my point of view was I was coming from the place that I mean, as an artist, you want to perform live, right? That's what you basically live for. For any artist, not just the musicians, but
Absolutely.
people who are into performing arts, right? So they want to perform live. You don't want to do a stand-up comedy gig in front of a monitor, right? You want to
Exactly,
be
exactly.
in front of the
We've
people.
seen how that works out.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially now that we've seen how that works out, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
so I mean, for me, it is still tricky, right? If I have been given, because online performing online gives you a lot much more opportunity in the terms of diversity of people you are going to play to. So you
Right.
don't know from where someone has connected, and
The
anyone
audience
can
could be
connect
of
from.
different
Yeah,
stratas,
right.
different age groups,
Right. So,
and yeah.
so I mean, for example, I did an open mic during the whole lockdown situation, and I was doing that open mic with those guys for the first time, so I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. And I saw completely different age groups right in front of this on the monitor. Like there was one lady who was in her 80s, and she was there to perform, not just an audience. She was there to
Wow,
perform.
that's so nice.
So she performed
Nice.
her poems, and then when I performed my songs, she enjoyed listening to someone that young to her. So I mean, that was something that hooked me to it. Ki yaar, nahi, this is something you won't get in playing a live gig, because the venues you would be playing would not have such kind of diverse audience, obviously.
Hmm. True.
So
True.
that
I
being
think both have their own pros and cons. I think
yeah.
that's the bottom line. I think both of them basically just suffice the fact that the artist needs to be there and just channelize themselves.
Yeah.
But at the same time, both of them have their own shortcomings. Like you'll have way more logistical and safety issues when you're doing a live gig right now. But at the same time, you will have a lot more complacency and a lot more, I think, less enthusiasm when it comes to live gigs right now, because most of them are free, so people really don't value the time that they're giving out. It's just more of a thing, ki, oh, he's there, okay, I'm just I'm sleeping or I'm in the kitchen or maybe even in the washroom, I'll just mute myself and I'll watch. So it's that kind of thing. So I mean, when you are getting something at your house with lesser effort for somebody who's putting a lot of effort, and there's a contrast in the terms of effort that is being put from the audience and the performer, the amount of interest levels and the amount of respect that you have for the person that you've taken out the time to watch, compared to a live gig will always be lesser. But if there's a proper decorum to it, where there's money involved, and there's, you know that that person is going to be playing for a select amount of time, and you really want to watch that person, if there's that inherent respect, I feel then the whole dynamic changes. But I think it has made it very interesting for a lot of people, because rather than, it has basically changed the game. People used to go separate. I think the weird part about that is, like, I feel like if you're doing like a national tour, I think tours are supposed to be there for artists to evolve their act also. Like, I mean, you if you if you're just going to play one set, if you're doing just one show or two shows, whereas it could just be 30, 40 shows where you could make way more money, and where you could have a lot more different experiences, because your skill set only improves the amount of time you go into the battlefield. If you are just going to the battlefield twice and calling yourself a fighter, I mean, either you've won a lot of battles before, you participated in a lot of battles before, so that means that you're equipped in terms of your skill set and your toolkit. You know how to, basically put yourself, apply yourself in different situations where the audience is probably not that receptive, or where they're too enthusiastic to just play on that energy, or when there are energy levels differentiating throughout the show. I think, yeah, it's a testament. Like, I think we had even spoken about this in the one of the first few podcasts that we had done with Saurabh. We had spoken about the fact that a lot of artists actually didn't come to do online gigs. It's a completely new thing for them. Like, they really don't know what they're getting into, what they're sinking their teeth into. So I think the fact that artists have adapted so quickly is so commendable. And the fact that I think online gigs are here to stay, and they should also, to some capacity, because things have not completely gone back to normal yet. At the same time, it makes it so much more accessible and so much more interesting. Like, if an artist is probably just chilling somewhere, holidaying somewhere, he can do a gig. If he just wants to raise the funds, or if he just wants to do something, just be active that way, interact with people. It's really interesting that way. If it's done for the right reasons, done the right way, I see no harm in online gigs. That's like my thing on it.
That's actually, especially the last point, I actually very much agree with that. Um, and also coming to Parth's point, where there was like there was a lot of diversity in the people who participated.
Yeah.
To
It's
that I
tricky.
would.
It's tricky. It's tricky
It's
because then
tricky.
you have to become more universal. So I mean,
Yeah.
you're trying to pander to way many more people, and then your expression is very like you like I want everybody to like me. So it's
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Like I remember, like, if I was doing a show, and like I did one show like I did two shows like in America, and I was like, how the fuck am I going to do a Pune ka area ka joke, like local train joke, Mumbai ka? How will I do that? But they laugh, bro. Like, if the setup is good, if you're basically doing, so it's very weird. It's very tricky, because you have to second guess what the audience is going to be perceptive towards. So when you start second guessing, you become more universal. That's what restaurant gigs and live, gigs are. You're basically just second guessing that they're going to like it. Not that the original stuff that you do is it's not any less. I mean, it's very good because it's more personal. So you have a better grasp on it. Because I think songs are also very biographical, unless they're very like universal. Like, singer-songwriter stuff is always rap and singer-song. I can't do a divine rap, like edit karke. I can't do that stuff now, bro, because it's his story. Like, how can I? You can't cover a rap. I think you can cover a rap like in a karaoke or like in a birthday party, but I think, yeah, it has to be personal. So I think why that's a singer-songwriter stuff is so important, because it just changes the whole scene, changes the whole game.
Yes, much agreed.
Yeah.
So I just want to add, when Bharat, you were talking about divine, that you can do divine rap. For some reason I imagined you singing Mirchi, Mirchi, Mirchi. I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, like all of us do. But I mean, I think Mirchi is like more of a commercial track, so that makes sense. But when you're going into like the proper like lyrical stuff that they do, like when they're talking about where it's more where it's more biographical, and when they're autobiographical, where they're talking about like मैं गली में पढ़ा मैं कहाँ भाई मैं तो मतलब पुणे में बिल्डिंग में मतलब पला बड़ा हूँ मैं कहाँ से उसके साथ रिलेट करूँगा और मतलब वो वाली चीज है. So I think it depends, man. It depends on how you also perceive that. Like, a lot of people have their own takes also, no? Like, we were talking to Tanish also in the episode, that when you're doing a cover also, it's about how you do it in your own way. It also matters on that. It's just not about how exactly you have to do it the way it was. So it differs from that to that, is what I feel. So that is exactly what the point is. But
Yeah.
so
Can
what
I
brings
add to
me?
that?
Yeah,
Of
Hari,
course.
please, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a Q&A. Aram se, yeah.
So I guess in the end, with such a divided amount of people who
Hmm.
either prefer actually going to the venue for live gigs, and to those who prefer staying home and doing like online live gigs. I
Hmm.
think that there's no right or wrong. Obviously, it just comes down to
It's very
which
subjective.
people. It's very
Yeah,
subjective and it comes down to which people are willing to take that kind of a health risk. I mean, if
correct.
they're not too worried about it, then sure, they can go out and perform. But obviously,
Hmm.
like not all people feel the same way. Like there are quite a few obstacles, especially when it
Hmm.
comes to Corona, that because of which they might think that it is much preferable to just stay home, and
Hmm.
it's much safer for our health. So
Hmm.
again, it's just these two kind of people who are willing to do what.
Mhm.
And but I think in the end, even though their experiences might be very different, the goals are basically the same. So what you
Hmm.
pick to do and the kind of experience you choose to take is obviously on you, but in the end we all want to pursue the same goals. So the best we
Yeah.
can do is just
No, I think
respect
goals are also
our
different. I think the
decisions.
mediums could be very universal, but I think the goals could also be different, right? Like you and Akshat might be sharing a stage, but I mean your goal might be to become a specialist sound engineer who does performs with bands, has his own career as
Oh
well.
no,
Akshat probably,
I didn't
yeah,
mean goals. I didn't mean goals in terms of like career choices. I meant like goals in the end. Regardless of what we choose to do, we want to reach out to more people and
right.
to express what we have to display, and just let people know that we're out there, we're doing this, and we think it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I think you've just overdone that. It'll be so weird. It'll be so weird that there's somebody who's like super into going gigs and they go to one venue with their girlfriend. They're like, hey man, I like that guy. Then they go to the next day. Wait, he's a part of this other band also. He's like, what? What am I on? This guy's a part of every band. Am I hallucinating? Am I in love with this guy? I'm thinking of every band. So which brings me to my next question. How are you part of so many bands, bro? What level of networking are you doing? Are you stalking people, or are you do you have too many visiting cards, or are you overdoing the LinkedIn stuff, or what is your thing, or do you say yes to every opportunity that you get? What is it, bro? Please tell us. Share your secrets with us.
So what I do is basically every person I meet at any open mic or gig, I basically follow
Offer
them to
back
their
with
yeah,
immediately.
I follow them to their house. I knock on their I knock at their door, and मैं ऐसे दरवाजे के सामने ऐसे बंदूक बंदूक लेके पकड़ता हूँ मैं, and then I'm like, hey bro, you want to collab?
No, no. I mean, I knocked the door and I talked very patiently. I just asked them one simple question: do you collab? And then they looked at
Do
them,
you
they turned
collab?
down, and they never said no.
एक 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 हाथ में गिटार है, दूसरे हाथ में बंदूक है.
Yeah, so it should be guitar and revolver instead of guitar and
Revolver.
chopstick. Or guitar and desi katta.
Yeah.
No,
Like I think
but
that
he
should be
calls his gun chopsticks.
yeah. That's a very John Wick kind of thing. Like chopstick. वो pencil से मारता है, वो guitar से
Now,
मारता है.
now I'm just imagining John Wick picking up a revolver and eating fucking ramen with it. I don't know why.
I mean, yeah, it's really weird. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Keanu Reeves is so nice. He would actually do that and not even complain. He would be like, yeah, that's how you do it. So yeah.
Oh boy. Sorry.
I mean, so yeah.
Nice.
It is really interesting that way.